In 2024, our planet is home to over 8 billion people. 3.5 billion are employed. 435 million were unemployed as of 2023. More than 594 million are entrepreneurs. That's 5.3% unemployed and 7.2% who've become entrepreneurs. These entrepreneurs are risk takers, creators, life changers.
But here's a thought. Without these 7.2% of entrepreneurs, how many more people would be unemployed?
Hi, I'm Ting. If you are watching this video, we've probably never met. I am a Chinese expat living in France. I first arrived here in 2014 as an international student to improve my French. After 6 years of academic life, I decided to start my one-person online business from my Paris studio in 2022. I created this channel to document my entrepreneurial journey as a foreigner in France. I also share insights and tips about social media marketing and online business.
If you are curious about entrepreneurship in France and considering starting an online business in 2024, I'll share my journey from a business novice to small business owner.
In 2 years, I've navigated decisions, research, planning, residency applications, branding, product creation, networking, and marketing. Though not a millionaire, I've accomplished this solo, an achievement I once thought impossible. So here's my story. Fears, doubts, and challenges.
It may seem contradictory, but I'm not naturally brave or confident. I had an inner critic constantly giving me reasons to give up.
This was entirely new territory for me. I doubted myself due to lack of experience and felt young compared to other seemingly more skilled and resourceful entrepreneurs. The COVID-19 pandemic certainly did not provide an optimistic economic environment for a new business to thrive. Starting would be incredibly challenging. I feared failure. My research showed that half of new businesses don't survive their first year.
I knew I'd make many mistakes. I might waste time and money on something doomed to fail. Unfortunately, overthinking is one of my strengths.
I imagined becoming homeless, crying alone in despair, plagued by illness and depression, a laughingstock loser. The lack of support terrified me. As a foreigner in France, without family nearby and with limited long-term friendships in Paris, I'd have to face everything alone, especially during lockdown. My introverted nature seemed ill-suited for the business world, particularly when it came to sales. I used to avoid social contact with strangers and disliked being sold to.
The hardest part is some people, even close friends, disagreed with my decision.
I lost a precious friendship over this disagreement. It's still painful to end a relationship over different belief.
But that's life. Despite all these mental struggles, I convinced myself I deserve a chance.
My desires are simply too big to surrender to fear. What drove me to start anyway? The first motivation was my bond with friends. I began learning French at 18, and after 6 years here, I've developed a deep attachment to the language and culture.
I couldn't imagine living somewhere without French in my life. I'd feel empty if I didn't at least try to stay.
The second motivation was my love for art and graphic design.
I couldn't imagine abandoning all these passions for something else. I've always believed that with passion, anyone can succeed.
The third reason was my curiosity about the professional and business world in France and Europe.
I wanted to discover this non-romantic, non-artistic side of France to complete my understanding of this country and its culture, even if I fail and have to leave. I knew that with a master's degree, I could probably avoid this challenge and find a work more easily in France.
But after 10 years of academic life, I was exhausted from studying. I needed to put what I've learned into practice through a real project, no more theories.
Yes, I mentioned earlier that I'm an introvert, but I'm also fiercely independent. I crave freedom, autonomy, and creativity in my work and life.
That's a part of my personality that's curious, adventurous, and open-minded. I want to challenge myself and society, exploring the possibilities of kindness and compassion. I want to prove that one's origin doesn't dictate their destination. Equality can exist. Diversity has value. Everyone deserves a chance. The best way to prove this is by showing my own success story, inspiring people like me to follow their dreams, passions, and missions. A society that kills dreams isn't worth living in. Today's society should give everyone hope and love. I believe this reflects my entrepreneurial spirit. When you want to change the world, make it a better place. Entrepreneurship is creating value that people need, even when the economy isn't growing. When the job market is brutally tough, when you have to pay someone to write a resume that doesn't even represent you just to get noticed, only to realize you still need to spend 8 hours a day sending 60 applications daily for months on end, and after 6 months, you start considering a basic job at McDonald's. After 10 years of higher education, effort, and time investment, this situation just doesn't seem fair at all. It's hopeless and extremely depressing.
If I accept this, it means the higher education system has failed.
In my case, it's even worse because I'm Chinese without French or European citizenship. I realized I couldn't even apply for the few job opportunities I found on LinkedIn because I'm not allowed to work legally in France without a master's degree. Even with a master's degree, your salary must be 1.5 times higher than the minimum wage, and your job must be related to your degree,
according to the French law. But at 29, I'm done with studying. I want to start a business.
I discovered that if I have a business project and get it verified by the French government, I can obtain an entrepreneur visa,
or what they call a liberal professional card, to stay at least a year in France. This is good news for me.
I deserve a chance. My dream deserves a chance.
Even if I fail, I fought for it. If you've listened to my story to this point, you know that I've studied in France for 6 years. I have a decade of academic life under my belt.
I earned a French literature degree in China, which led to a year's work experience in Shanghai. Then I spent a year obtaining a French C1 language certificate, enabling me to study in an art and design school for 3 years. Following that, I invested 2 years in business school, learning how to manage a business.
Inspired by my family's business background in China, that's quite a wealth of experience that's proving valuable for my business in France.
With these skills, I began my research. Given my graphic design degree, freelancing seemed the most accessible business option, which is part of my business today,
and why I'm creating YouTube videos now. But my time in design school also ignited my passion for
art, crafts, manual work, illustration, stationery, and DIY. I love experimenting with different mediums, especially natural materials. My tendency to overthink sparks countless inspirations for creating various things.
This creative urge is unstoppable. I feel like my purpose in life is to express these ideas.
This led to the second part of my business, selling art.
I believe each art piece deserves to be seen, and that art inherently has value. Every artist deserves recognition and reward.
So I decided to build an e-commerce website for my own art. If you ask about my products, there are many with more to come in the future,
as this is also my hobby. However, to secure my residency permit, I needed to present this project as not only reasonable, realistic, but also viable. I had to write a business plan.
I'd never written a business plan before, so I watched practically every free tutorial in French, English, and Chinese on YouTube and various websites. I remember it took me 3 months to finally complete it, from learning what a business plan is to conducting market research, analyzing my business model, grappling with financial terms, and writing technically in French. After hundreds of pages of research and drafts, the first basic version of my business plan emerged on Notion.
I could hardly believe I've done it. The next step was applying for my entrepreneur residency card.
I had to prepare a list of documents, including the self-written business plan. After a long wait, I finally secured an appointment at the Foreign Affairs Office in Paris. They examined my files and granted me a 3-month temporary residency permit.
While I awaited the results and hopefully get a new residency card.
While waiting for the residency permit for this project, I was both nervous about the application's progress and excited about the prospects of starting my project in France.
I began by finding a name for my business before creating a logo. I knew many designers simply name their business after themselves, but I wanted to be more creative.
I didn't like my name. There are so many people named Ting in this world. It's just not unique. And naming my company after myself.
My business and I are two entities. I wanted to give it more personality and independence.
So I went from graffiti to feeding to AMROC to AMROC Creator to AMROC Creator Studio.
Because I wanted my business to be more than graphic design, more than my design style. I wanted to be meaningful.
If you ask about the meaning of my name in Chinese, people will say it means my parents wished for me to be a beautiful and elegant woman.
My business is like a baby, and I wanted to solve people's problems.
Like the magical giant white Nordic wolf who emerges from the forest. Something wild, natural, and spiritually powerful.
Then I added creator to remind myself who I am. It's called AMROC Creator.
The addition of studio came later during the website building process.
Speaking of which, I started with my logo design.
I knew I wanted something mysterious, sophisticated, and handcrafted.
However, I also aim to convey a sense of service, satisfaction, and message translation through this logo.
As my primary focus would be graphic design and advertising, to me, advertising and marketing are about showing people that their wishes can come true, that every product will find its audience.
I want to be the messenger who makes this possible.
As a graphic designer, I understand the challenge of encapsulating everything in a single symbol. After all, it's just a symbol. It needs to be easily recognizable and memorable. It also has to resonate with current tastes, particularly those of my future clients.
The logo must appeal to them. It should attract the right people, speak to them, instill trust, and create a positive first impression before they even know my business.
Ultimately, I simplified it to the extreme, leaving only the silhouette, the minimal shape with a touch of texture inside the head.
For the color palette, I transitioned from yellow and dark green combination to light green and light yellow, emphasizing usefulness and optimism.
I also incorporated a light gray gradient for the background, symbolizing an ecological future beyond mere craftsmanship and authenticity. With this visual identity established, I began searching for a solution to host and build my website.
Meanwhile, I received my French business permit, which meant I could finally register my business, a crucial step.
This registration was essential for opening a business bank account, completing my Shopify website setup, and ensuring all contracts and receipts featured my official business number. I navigated the entire business registration process with the help of Google research and information from the French government websites.
At the same time, I planned my website structure.
It would combine a graphic design portfolio, blog posts about entrepreneurship, marketing, creativity, and life in France, and an e-commerce platform for my artworks, and potentially affiliated products.
I researched various website builders like WordPress, WooCommerce, PrestaShop, and ultimately chose Shopify. I'll explain my choice later in another video. But in short,
Shopify met all my needs: blogging, no code, simple, stable, global research, popularity, customizable, affordable, and a large support community.
Since my website would serve as both a portfolio and an e-commerce website, I had numerous pages to build, including legal information for selling in France.
From conception to the first version, it took me a year to complete all the pages, including foundational blog posts.
If you are curious about my process of building my website on Shopify, let me know in the comment section and I'll make another video addressing your questions.
Next, I began marketing on various social media platforms. I started with Instagram, my favorite, then moved to Twitter and LinkedIn, and experimented with Pinterest and YouTube. At the same time, I networked with people, aiming to provide the best possible service to my future clients. I took time to connect with those interested in my content, knowledge, and experience.
I believe personality shines through genuine conversation. Today, a resume and a profile alone aren't enough to build trust.
You must reach out and present yourself personally to truly understand people's needs.
For me, authenticity stems from compassion. If you don't listen to people and engage with them,
your service will feel generic and lack quality. Quality is increasingly rare in a world fixated on quick and easy solutions. Good things take time.
As few people value time investment, authentic relationships become precious. I don't consider myself a successful entrepreneur, quite the contrary.
However, I've learned far more in 2 years than I did in school. Business exists, I've achieved it, and I haven't gone broke. I've gained invaluable experience and met all the goals I set for myself, even though it took longer than expected. The moral of the story is, if you want to start a business, be realistic, seek support, work hard, and most importantly, show up consistently.
Before we wrap up this video, I have some extra tips for you. If you are a freelancer or a small business owner,
consider yourself an entrepreneur.
This isn't about boosting your ego. It's about shifting your mindset.
It will change how you approach your responsibilities as a business owner.
If you don't take it seriously and commit fully, you will waste precious time on self-doubt.
Remember, entrepreneurs are proactive. Freelancers often wait.
One last thing, when you are investing everything in your business,
you might feel like you are losing time, energy, money, and soul.
But you are gaining something priceless.
Freedom at every moment. That's something a 9-to-5 job can never offer.
If you have the same experience or any questions related to creating an online business, feel free to leave your comments.
Bye.